Welcome to Dawn Patrol. Let's fly. Woohoo! Dodging clouds, spinning like a top. Morning Patrol is crazy fun. Subscribe for more Dawn adventures.
And there I am. Look at that. Starting to get a little better, but not much. There, I got a little video I wanted to share.
And come into the world to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me. Truth. What is truth?
Yeah. So there's that. I was thinking about this morning's topic, and let me do this thing here. Hold on. Come on. There you are. All right. Copy. Hey, good morning, Olson. See, I'm still behind on all this. All right, let's do that. Let's hover over here. Mr. Scott, it's awesome to see both of you guys up this morning. So you guys are ready to rock if you ever want to come in. Oh, hitting wrong buttons. I was thinking about the topic, and we had a couple of situations where, where people have engaged in the TLC in not a very hospitable way. I think primarily text messaging seems, or the comment section seems to be the biggest area where a lot of that stuff happens, which is fine. We have some moderators now, and you guys can do whatever you got to do, just because it's hard to do this and that. But and then I think that there was one time where we're gonna have to learn how, like, when somebody comes in, how to side talk to them and find out, who they are. Like if somebody we know, or see their face, so that they're kind of forced to be not anonymous, or at least behind in the backstage. So anyway, and I was thinking about navigating this space with integrity. I can see, like, when I first came in, or especially if you're in the lurk and you're in the chat and comments and you're making comments, it's probably easier to be a zinger guy, a guy that's dropping zingers, or saying things that you wouldn't ordinarily say to somebody in person, or even face to face, like on a camera. So I was thinking about, like, how do you handle these people? And I see why a lot of people in the TLC will give them a timeout for a day or whatever, like hopefully they may come to this space more hospitable, more less of the incendiary personality. And then that way, because name calling and I don't know, people might not realize they're making fun of people, or they're really attacking people, but they really are in a lot of ways. So it's just kind of nice to find this way to monitor, and then what's the integrity part of it? Like, how do you do it where you still give a person the opportunity to check themselves, and maybe they want to come in a different way. So yeah, so blocking and stuff like that. I guess if somebody is habitually doing the same thing over and over again, it's a little hard to not ultimately block them or whatever. But yeah, and there's times where some people just are having bad days. You know, they're fired up about something. They can't stop their impulse control, and they just want to keep doing it. And I was thinking about Claire. She was on Parker's stream and Mark Parker's stream, and she was very hospitable, and she listened, and it was a nice exchange. I thought, I don't know if I represented how I feel well enough, or if I said something that maybe offended anybody, and that wasn't my intent. So I just wanted to cover that too. Part of this navigating the space in integrity isn't just running a channel, but it's also how you engage other people when you go onto their channel. So yeah, I mean, I one of the things that this place, this corner has helped me out with is listening. I've always been a talker, you know, and I don't even realize I'll dominate a conversation, which is not a good place, not a good character trait, you know, because if you're not listening, you really have no idea what this person is doing with the information that you're conveying. So, and I've found myself over the years, you know, figuring that out. But this place really is a good opportunity to do that. And I still run afoul of that. So that's been an interesting part of this. And I was thinking about why I wanted to start my channel in the first place. And I felt like, well, wait, this is what everybody in the corner is trying to do. And it was that video clip, you know, it's like, I feel like all of us at one point has been the pilot, you know, been the Pontius Pilate, the guy that is like, what is truth? You know, when somebody tells you, you know, this is truth. So I guess my position is that I feel like we have to be at a place where, listen, if this is how you understand things, and this is your formation. To me, historically, there's a historic truth. And I feel like that part shouldn't really be disputed. But I understand this space also has atheists and people that are agnostic. And so to them, the word truth is, you know, I'm just co-opting it, you know. And in their mind, they have a different truth, you know, and I'm just trying to explain. I remember I was working with a couple of Haitian guys, and we were talking about God, and he kept saying, my God. Now, I think it was a translation thing, but I'm like, no, I'm not talking about your God or my God. I'm talking about the God, you know, because I really wanted to differentiate the fact that we're talking about God, not your tradition or your religion. And that kind of came up also. You know, these words, they take on such massive things in people's heads, you know, like God and religion and Christian and evangelical or fundamental. I mean, it's just amazing how it seems like the cultures have to change words in order for you to be hospitable with people's feelings. And I brought on Mark Parker's live stream. I felt like I reiterated PVK's definition, which I felt was just helpful, especially in this corner. But more broadly, the world is that if you look at religion, you know, you can be religious at anything. You can be religious in fishing. You can be religious in golfing. You can be religious in, you know, you can be repetitive, and this can be the most important thing to you. And that's all you're doing is the journey to that and through that and with that. So when he says religion is the thing that we see as the highest and how to get there, to me is very apropos. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things where it allows you to orientate your focus on what is the most important thing to you. And there's just so many times it seems like people elevate all these others. I'm guilty of it too. You know, I make sure that doing this streaming stuff, I don't want to elevate this above what we're ultimately trying to seek, which is Christ. So I feel like that part is a pretty big deal, you know. So anyway, I'm checking myself all the time, and I want to make sure that I'm not, obsessed with this, because I can do that. I have those tendencies. And yeah, good morning, Ethan.
What's up, man? How are you?
Excellent. You said I can increase the volume on somebody. You're good. I just wanted to see, practice some of this stuff.
Increase the volume.
Oh yeah, there it is right there. All right, talk.
I've never even. I mean, I could bring my microphone closer to my mouth.
No, it's good though. It has echo
lazy.
cancellation, reduced mic background noise, automatic adjustment mic volume. Yeah, I just maxed you out. I maxed you out, bro.
Feeling maxed.
Yeah.
Feeling sound maxed right now.
That was fun yesterday, doing the riddle. That was a neat idea. What made you think of that?
I mean, I've legitimately done a lot of riddling. I mean, it's been a long time, but it's something that that's what I do with my friends and my family. I just bother them with riddles.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you used to do this in a club?
No, bars.
Bars. So like just a bunch of your friends, you'd get everybody going on something,
or strangers. Yeah. I mean, because like a small towny bar, it's just. I mean, that's a live stream. It's just a bunch of people that are kind of randomly gathered in a place.
Yeah. Who was it that called this place the coolest bar they ever walked into? Who was that?
Oh, I don't know.
That was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I used to tend a bar, and like it's pretty similar to doing a live stream in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, and if you're good, you got a lot of those things up your sleeve,
Well, I mean, yeah, because you got to like make things for people, you got to entertain people, you got to keep people fed, you got to keep people coming in, keep people going. I mean, like it's and if it's a busy bar, then that skill set just slots right in.
So when I was growing up, probably a little bit before my legal drinking age, the scene was bars, and bars, by what I mean by bars is like restaurant bars. So like TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
That was jumping, and the bartenders there were so insane. I mean, you got to remember, this is back when, like Tom Cruise Cocktail movie came out, and so flipping bottles and stuff was like, you know what I mean, a big deal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
This one bartender, he would put goggles on, and he would do a handstand over the bar sink and dunk his head inside the sink. I mean, just
a little bit of circus.
Yeah, and it was like, I'm like, in my generation, like when I came into drinking, the scene was the nightclub. It wasn't. So like when I tell my dad I'm going to the club, he goes, "You mean you're going to a bar?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to a club." He goes, "What's the difference?" He goes, "They drink there?" I'm like, "Yeah." "You dance there?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, but modern bars, you're not dancing really at a bar. I mean, you can, and there are people that do, but it's kind of like segregated. It's a different category."
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, my wife and I met working at this restaurant brewery. So that's how we met.
And you charmed her.
Kind of, not exactly, sort of. We were friends for like a year. We were friends for a year. We had seen each other on like Tinder, because we were both using Tinder. I never swiped on her because I just could never decide like if I wanted to be more than friends. I liked her, but I was like, at that point, I think I was her boss. When I started, she was my boss. Then we were like equal level, and then I became her boss. And I was like, I just don't need this problem in my work life, basically. So whenever I was using Tinder, because you have to like swipe left or right, she would appear, and then I wouldn't be able to use it anymore because I could never make a decision. So I just like cancel out of the app. And then it was very strange because this gay guy was hitting on me, and she got jealous, which is strange because there was no reason for her to be jealous.
Right.
And then shortly after that, she texted me and said, "I'm mildly in love with you." And I was like, "Oh, I'm actually kind of mildly in love with you too. So let's just start there." Which is like, it's strange today, but I don't think it's that strange if you think about the old days, when it's like you would be with someone and you would know them pretty well, and then you'd be like, "Hey, let's get married."
Yeah,
So
I think when I got engaged once, and I remember someone else seeing me interacting with this person, and they looked at me and they go, "You love this person," and I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "No, you really love this person," and I'm like, to me, it seemed like a stupid thing to have an awareness of. And he goes, "What I'm saying is, you'd marry this person. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when." And I was like, "Yeah, you know?" And so, yeah, that moment, that transition, when it dawns on you that this is heavier than I think it's so funny when you got to realize. So I'm in my early 50s, right? And when I hear people, and you're not even that much younger. I mean, you're younger. I mean, I don't want to try to age you out, but
I'm 34.
yeah. So, but to hear when younger people say, "Oh yeah, Tinder," and I swiped her, and have the language has changed on terminology, like it's just we talk like, yeah, this is what it is. That was the medium.
Yeah, well, the new medium ain't good. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Olsen goes, "Mildly in love," classic.
I wanted to ask you though, because what are you going to do when you graduate? Because I heard you say that you don't want to be a priest.
Yeah, so pastor, right? So, so I had this, just like a lot of people in our space here, I had this deep desire to learn theology, learn history. It was just important to me. I think probably because I did when I spoke to people about any subject, people always kind of gave me this like, "Well, I wouldn't take my authority from you." You know what I mean? Like, you're just another dude. Like, you have no credibility.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, if there was one thing I was going to want to have a credibility on, this would be it. I really want to be 100% accurate, not just talking randomly at a bar, right? Like in that type of thing where you're just another guy talking out of his butt. So I wanted to be as knowledgeable as I could be, and just keep growing in my knowledge. So obviously reading the Bible is a good place to start, right? So getting more regular patterns of engaging different stories and different topics, and that's when things just started exploding. But then I had this professor show up at my church, and this is probably how, I guess, narcissistic I was. Like, I'm not going to get taught by just anybody. It's got to be somebody with some juice, like I want somebody that's got some clout, And this guy, I found out he did his master's at Princeton. Now, this is before I realized that Princeton and Harvard and like Yale, like getting a theology degree from there is a grab bag of what the person's going to be. Like there's no real full, you know, thing. I love you, Olson. You better be on Monday morning, buddy. I can't wait to wake up for your performance. But yeah, so I wanted to be more accurate with my information, you know, and that way, if somebody did bring something up or whatever, I could respond and we could have more of a dialogue back and forth on what we're talking about and come from an accurate place, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not a great memorizer. You know, like there's people in our space here, they're great. They love memorizing things. Like they'll memorize church fathers. They'll memorize, some people in my church, they're really good at memorizing scripture verses, like actually where it is. And I'm better at like, you know, like this is what I remember. Let me look it up and then I can read it accurately, whatever, you know, but at least I know, okay, this is in Romans 3, you know, this is in Romans 5, or this is in 1 Corinthians, you know, 13, you know what I mean? Like, so, but the scriptures are there. I just can't, you know, say, hey, you know, just quote the scripture number, you know, so somebody can look it up. So other people are better at that. But when I decided to do this, I'm like, I'm not called, I don't, there's things in my life that have positioned me to make a self decision on what I'm gifted at and what I'm capable of doing given my life circumstances. And pastoring isn't one of them. Now, could I have been a great pastor, you know, if I didn't go down a life pattern that, you know, was as destructive as it was? I probably could. And I probably could now, but I also do it because I don't want to add one more controversial thing into the system that causes people to be a stumbling block. I bring that up a lot, right? I don't want to add stumbling blocks. I recognize I'm the chief sinner, you know, and I feel like that's like one of the best lines Paul would have when he's, you know, laying out his credentials, you know, saying that, you know, he was a studier of the word and he's, you know, a Pharisee and he's a Pharisee of Pharisees. And he's like kind of laying out his credentials in Galatians. And then, but he also lays out the fact that, but, you know, he was the guy that stood there and watched them kill Stephen and was like, you know, because they were dropping their cloaks at his feet, he was endorsing it, you know? So it's like, I get that part of it, but like my thing is more like online ministry, something like this. And this is kind of why I felt the passion for it. I loved what Paul was doing, PBK was doing. And I got more involved in the corner and watched some of these people's channels, and some of it was crazy, some of it was awesome, some of it was interesting, you know. But I also don't want to be a thorn. And this is what I meant by integrity. I don't want to be somebody that comes on someone's channel and is not making their life uncomfortable because I'm asking certain questions. And I think that most people in the corner like genuine questions, you know. The disagreement part is where it gets a little funny, you know. So like you know, because I have a framework that I operate in, and if somebody doesn't operate in that framework and we disagree, people have certain ways of expressing that you're taking over their mind or something, or you're trying to inject something into their mind. And I'm thinking to myself, we all inject something into our mind, you know. I mean, at some point or another, you open your mind and then you close it around something, and you know, it's something that you believe to be true, you know, and you believe to be accurate, or the best to the best of your knowledge, this is what you're going to put your faith in. And we would all say Christ, but the details, the specifics, right? That makes sense.
I agree with you on the, like, we're all doing mind control all of the time. Like, there's a certain kind of manipulative communication where you're not being honest with your words, but even like honestly speaking words, I'm still trying to, like, I want you to receive my consciousness, which I'm giving to you via these little words. And it's like, I want my words to go and, like, enter your ears and then be in your head. And it's like, and that's kind of literally mind control. Like, so that's like, okay, so we're all doing mind control. For me, that's just a given. So it's like, then you're immediately in the question of, like, what is good? Right? Like, okay, if I'm going to send things to your brain, what can I send that I can be confident in is good? And then, I mean, kind of you were getting at sort of like, I mean, if you just keep it like interdenominational with stuff, it's like, well, is it bad that the person's a Catholic? For me, I'm like, no. Do I want to argue with a Catholic? I mean, not really. I mean, maybe some days. Do I want to argue with an Orthodox? I mean, not really. Like, I'm happy that they're in church. Like, I don't need them to become the same tradition that I am. But then you get into, like, other religions, and it's like, well, what is my responsibility to this person? What is good? How do I speak? And I mean, it's, in one sense, like, it's tricky, but in another sense, I'm just like, that's just all of life. I think we've, like, polished a lot of that kind of stuff away through, like, corporate speak and, like, machine mediation, where we don't have to have those conversations in daily life much because of, like, HR departments. But, like, in the old days, it's like, if you were going to trade with somebody, it's like you had to build trust just to trade. And nowadays it's like, well, I don't even need trust to trade. We can trade trustlessly. And that, I mean, that has pros and cons.
Yeah. I think you're right. I'm always trying to check my motives. So, like, when it comes to, like, I was on, I forgot the name, the Sherry's podcast. I was listening to them go over
Restoring Meaning.
Yeah, I was listening to them to go over a saint. And I kind of liked the saint that they were going over, like he was a little bit of a rebel, and he went through some difficulties with the church. They felt like he was creating, I think if I remember correctly, the big issue was he was creating his own liturgy, essentially, like, for lack of a better, I'm probably using the wrong word. And he got a lot of heat for that. But it was just Jesus's prayer. Yeah. The issue was, it was like the repetitive praying, right? Which, in Orthodox tradition, and I even in, like, if you think Buddhism and stuff like that, this repetitive praying, same thing over and over again. I think it's called rote. It's like rot. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's like you're just going through the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think that average Christians that might just be saying the Lord's Prayer, or, if they're Catholic and they're doing their, Hail Mary, Mother of God, pray for, like this repetitive thing, you know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't mean anything. It's just something that you do. Like when you were a kid at bedtime, you rambled through the prayers, or you got ready to eat, you rambled through the prayers, it was just something to get through. So I think that if you're doing that repetitive thing and you're really focusing on what you're doing, I can see it being a value, So I kind of like that. and the focus is on Jesus, how can I not like that? You know?
Watch out,
But
you're becoming metagelical.
well, and I had said something, I can't remember exactly what I said to her. Or all I did was pose a question, or I made a statement about the non-mechanics. Like, we probably shouldn't be all mechanical or whatever. And it kind of spurred into something different. But then they brought up Calvinism, and I'm like, oh man, like that's so, and I'm like sitting there listening to them talk about this, and they really made it. They kind of, I felt like they were, and the way I was originally taking it was that it was like, this is what people fought and got bloody over and stuff, like this is like, dangerous to have such extreme opinions. And I'm like, I'm not a hyper Calvinist, but be that as it may, we're just talking about original sin and the way that they saw original sin. And it kind of got into Greek words and how they were reading, how they received some words. And so like this is just a topic that's interesting to have a conversation back and forth about, is my point. And like, I don't read the word justice the way that they're interpreting it. It's like they go back and find ways to read it in the definitional ways to make it sound like it's a hug. I mean, it is a hug. I mean, in a way, but when he pulled up the definition, it was funny. I grabbed my dictionaries, my 1850 dictionary, and he was online, and he finally went to like, I think 1812 or whatever it was.
Jeremy?
Yeah. And he read it, and I'm looking at the definition that he's reading, and I'm going, there it is right there. It has a specific definition, and they're bringing up, the original Hebrew. And I'm like, well, the original Hebrew really doesn't matter, because they didn't write this in the original Hebrew in Isaiah they did, but I'm talking about like when Paul's using the word justice, or Jesus uses the word justice is the word justice in the Greek, because that's what it was written in. The New Testament. The New Testament was written in Greek.
It was written in Greek. Yeah. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Right? So we have a fact.
So if I'm an author and I'm writing a story and I use a word and I use it in that language, I'm using it under that context.
See, I go not necessarily.
Well, why not?
Well, because now we're in like consciousness. So like, does the author have a Greek consciousness, or do they have a multilingual consciousness? Are they thinking in Greek? Are they dreaming in Greek? Or are they thinking in Hebrew and writing in Greek? Are they thinking in two languages at once, and those two words are triangulating kind of the phenomenon that they're trying to get at? So they're picking, well, I'm going to use this word today. I could use this word. Like, there's a phenomenon behind the words. But now we're in the depths of like the philosophy of language. But that is kind of where all this stuff takes us.
Always. I'll never forget. Did I tell you this? Did I ever bring up? I don't know if I told you this story, but a friend of mine wanted to start. I wanted to start a Bible study, and I said, "Hey," and I was thinking about starting a Bible study, and I could tell he needed, he needed it as much as I did. And he goes, actually, one of my roommates are starting a Bible study, and I was thinking about starting that with them, or doing that with them. And I said, okay, I don't have to lead a Bible study. I'm perfectly content with joining one. You know what I mean? I wasn't egotistical about it. So I show up, and all of a sudden, everybody that's coming in, there's like, maybe 7 of us. Everybody that was coming in are dropping Catholic Bibles on the table. And I'm like, what did I just walk into? And I knew the guy that I was talking to was Protestant. And again, to me, I wouldn't think it would be a big deal, except for the fact that we're going to do a Bible study, and they literally have a Bible that's geared specifically for Catholics. I was like, this is going to be bizarre, like I thought we were just going to do a Bible study, So I
And we're
kind of was
reading
like,
the
okay,
book of Tobit today.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Well, and again, I didn't know where we were going to go. So I'm like, I'm trying to be all positive. I'm like, whatever, we read, and maybe even some words are different once in a while. Who knows, right? So I'm like trying to have still a positive outlook on it or whatever. And they were going to use the television as a display monitor. And the guy that was hosting that Bible study puts his little thing in. And when he did it, all of a sudden it came up with the 7 sacraments. And I'm like, we're going to go over the sacraments. And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, how am I going to sit through this Bible study with integrity on what I believe to be accurate, right? And I'm in their space, so I'm trying to be hospitable, right? But still have integrity with what I believe to be accurate biblically, right? Now I know there's been people over the years, they've all debated these things. Is it 7? Is it 2 sacraments? Is it, So I just used it as a learning experience. Like imagine if I'm in a class and I'm learning, right? I'm just going to sit here and learn and soak it up or whatever. And it's going to be what it's going to be. Which worked out well, having that mindset. The only issue was they jumped the shark at the end because they literally prayed to Michael, the angel. And I'm going, oh no. Like it's one thing because they knew I was Protestant. So it's not like I was some spy on their Bible study. I mean, so it's kind of like, it's almost like dunking on somebody that is, 4 foot tall. It's like, dude, like, come on, man. Like that, that wasn't necessary, we could have easily done the Lord's Prayer together, or something that we would all be on the same page with,
So you wanted them to like not be honest to their tradition?
Well, I mean, I think that if you have a newcomer, no, it was me and I think McMo and Skankenstein. We were talking about how, when you're younger, you'll see all sorts of different things. And one of the things I saw when I was younger was younger Bible studies. And some of those younger people, everybody wants to be cool and have a good time and make it fun. They brought up drinking during the Bible study. And I was like, this isn't going to work for me. Like, not just because I was a recovering alcoholic at the time, but because I already saw the slippery slope of how this can go, in a group of 12 dudes, there's a high probability that somebody isn't going to be able to maintain, which means then you have to address that thing of not somebody not maintaining it. Like, well, I don't want to be in the environment where I have to set the conditions up to have that conversation,
Yeah, I've been a part of some pretty wild Bible studies.
Yeah. And again, it's whatever. I mean, I'm sure God uses it, I can't just besmirch that. I'm just saying, I've grown over the years to where I'm just not wanting to participate in having to have a difficult conversation about something somebody's doing, or they're too drunk to drive, like really, from a Bible study. Or I want it to be a place of the Bible study I'm part of. I want to be able to not be afraid to invite anybody. And this includes somebody that's struggling with alcohol or drugs. But if I bring them to a Bible study that's drinking, and so they kind of understood. I think they were trying to be hospitable with my perspective, but they clearly didn't think it was that big of a deal. They felt like, which a lot of people feel like that. Well, this is your problem. It's not our problem, not me, but talking about the person that would be coming into the Bible study. And I'm like, I kind of want it to be a safe place where, not be embarrassed to bring somebody, You know, I don't want to have to segregate my groups of people, you know. And I thought about that with the TLC, you know. It's like, you know, if I brought on somebody from my church onto the live stream, right? Or invited them, hey, log on, you know, and we'll have a talk on my channel. And then somebody from the TLC came on, and it's like, okay, you know, I think perspective, hey, listen, there'll be a lot of different types of people in this community. You know, we're not here to preach at people. You know, we're not trying to do that. You can have a perspective and you can bring those perspectives up, but you're not trying to smash, you know, religiosity. You know, it's kind of like you start preaching at somebody and you're preaching and preaching and preaching, and it's like, dude, that's not what the corner's about. Not
I
like
mean, that
that.
happens though.
No, it does, but it's not like it's different.
It's
Don't
not the
you think?
regular cadence.
Yeah. But even when somebody preaches in the corner, it's not is acts preachy in the corner. It's not like your awkward friend that's preaching to the person that's the atheist, that like, you know, like coming at it from the wrong angle. It's kind of like you're preaching things that they already know, and you being the person that knows both of them already know they know this. You know, like you might have even had that conversation with them at one point.
Yeah.
And this person's new to the party and they think that, oh, I just got to explain the gospel to them. You know what I mean? It's like, no, they know the gospel. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so much of it is like having a town square is still weird to us. Cuz like when I grew up, I mean, I didn't interact with people I mean high school, sure, but like even that was I wasn't in the city, we were in the suburbs, so it was very much like a couple types of people. And then you come on and like are thrust into a space where it really is like a true town square. There's all kinds of questions that have to be determined and figured out that like we've kind of removed a lot of that unless you live in the city today and like are like doing city things. But even in the city, like most of what you do in the city is like, well, I'm brushing shoulders with people who are different, but we're not really interacting. We're not really like, I'm having my dinner here, they're having their dinner there, or having my drink here. They're next to me at the bar stool. Maybe I talk to them, maybe I don't. Like everything is just so mediated that I mean, this is still mediated, but like a lot less because anybody can just appear. And the TLC itself is already it's a dense web of connections of different people.
Yeah, outside of this space, like you said, at a restaurant or something like that, it's what I think I understand you saying is it's kind of like that clip in Waking Life about being ants. You know, like we're just kind of going through life in this hospitable tone, you know, about the weather and you know, general surface conversations that aren't necessary. Now, some people are outgoing and they're going to go deeper, but generally we're hospitable in our interactions in public. And but this space, it's definitely deeper.
Well, like, okay, here's a concrete example. You go to a restaurant, you have your table. You don't have to share your table. You don't have to pass your salt and pepper. But on a live stream with people from different thinking ideas, you have to share a conversation. And like, we don't have to do that much in like just how the world works today. We don't have to share much. We all have our own things. But 100 years ago, 120 years ago, there was a lot more space sharing, thing sharing, and it was like you had to figure out if you could trust the person in order to share, but you had to share to live. And a lot of the sharing we don't do anymore. I think that's what I'm trying to get at.
If I increase my output, does that increase your mic on StreamYard?
I have no idea. I don't ever play with that.
Yeah,
I mean, I can just do this. I'm being very lazy this morning.
Yeah, CW. I did increase his volume all the way up in StreamYard. I tried that earlier just because I wanted to see if that would help because I wanted to learn if I can do that. Yeah, Matt C has that horticulture video. Yeah, I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, Matt C has a great channel that he doesn't use.
I'm seeing him tonight, actually.
Oh, are you seeing him tonight?
Yeah, I forgot all about that. I mean, I didn't forget. I would have remembered this afternoon, but yeah, I'm driving over there. He's having a tiki party, and he invited some TLC people. So hopefully somebody else shows up. I think Henry might have gotten invited. So yeah, so be kind of cool. It's the IRL, right?
Going into the tiki den.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, Matt's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Matt a lot. And Henry. And you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, this morning situation is pretty awesome. You know, we've got a group of people that enjoy getting up early and, you know, engaging. And Scott, I guess, said the link didn't work. I didn't see that earlier, but
really,
yeah.
Try posting it again.
You mean unpin it and repin it?
Oh, is it pinned?
Yeah.
I didn't realize you had it pinned. Then yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, there was something weird with Mark's when I tried to go through him. It was like forcing me to log in to YouTube and then forcing me to log in to Google. And I'm like, what is going on? Everybody else's stream, like when I go in Chris Howard, you know, I just touch it and boom, I'm in. So I didn't understand why. Yeah, it was a lot of hoops. But yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. I mean, yeah, driving way over there. It's a 2.5 hour drive. So, but yeah.
Did you tell him to make you a NA Tiki?
Oh yeah, he says he makes the best non-alcoholic cocktails or whatever. So
yeah, he's a good bartender.
Yeah,
he knows his fundamentals well.
Yeah, I think he's got some family and friends and stuff at this tiki thing too. So it's not like it's just TLC. But I just fair warned him. I'm like, dude, it's going to be a month before I get my teeth fixed. So just so you know, you're going to be looking like a homeless person showing up to your. Just giving you fair warning. He's like, I don't care about that.
Yeah, I got my front tooth chipped. It's been chipped forever. I think I'm just gonna stay chipped. Stay chipped.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when you get these little caps and stuff, and they start discoloring different. You know, I had mine when I first did. I had one of the bottom ones chip on the bottom near the root. So when they did this, whatever patch, it like, you know, the tooth and it. Like I guess the tooth changes shape, and so then you got this thing. It's not the same as your tooth. That's like still the same as it was when it was put in your mouth. So it's like so crazy. I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna work for me.
Grafting, always trying to graft.
Yeah, I had to get rid of that. You see that?
Yeah. So Krotz texted CW last night and told CW to interview me. And so now CW is doing what he does, where then he like pushes the agency onto someone other than himself, trying to make it seem like Krotz wants you to do it, even though Krotz wants him to do it. But CW knows that I'm going to do this right now. And this is the little game we play back and forth from chat to video. It's very fun. It's like Sherlock Holmes, you know, like I'm Holmes and he's Luminardi. What's that guy's name? Moriarty. Maybe I'm Moriarty and CW is Sherlock Holmes. And Matt Krotz would be a good Watson. Maybe I'm Watson and Krotz is Holmes. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Lots of Machiavellian stuff going on here.
Yeah. CW and I like to play the Dark Triad game.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome. Yeah, so I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about when it comes to integrity in the space, navigating it?
Integrity.
Any advice maybe you have?
Oh gosh, I don't know about advice. Um, well, I mean, there's a certain version of like it's strange because people, and I mean this broadly, and I do this to a degree. I try not to do it, but I do this too. Um, like it's like how much honesty is allowed. Because like if I'm honest, that means I'm bringing like my viewpoint and my tradition and all the other things that I bring with me. Like, am I allowed to bring all of that to you? Or is like some of that not allowed and only bring the things that we can agree on? Otherwise, it's gonna get like real testy. But I'd rather just hear Sartori talk because I talk all the time, and Sartori is the best.
I just came in because there was kind of a lull for a second, so I figured maybe it would be useful. I
Save
don't
the
know.
stream.
I
Yes.
don't have a lot of strong thoughts this early in the morning, but I do like what you were just saying, because I realized, like, I have some stuff I've been writing where I was like, if I write this not in my name, I can be a lot more honest. And then I'm like, that's not good because I'm like publicly evangelical Christian or whatever. Like that's not saying such good things about my Christian tradition. If I can't be as honest as I could be if I were someone else. So, but I think it's good to foster the ability for people to be honest with each other, and you don't always have to be able to share all your deep dark secrets, but I think maybe that's a good direction for things to go. I think TLC is a good place for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I dig that. I completely agree. It's like if I have to preface every single thing, but the more the relationship builds with people that you're engaging, I think that's helpful too, because then they know your spirit of it. They know that you're not coming from a place of know-it-all or condemnation or like I think you're an idiot. No, you know what I mean? Like they already know that. Like that's
Yeah.
the unspoken stuff. And I think it does suck. Like like I want to put this thing out that I wrote, but I can be way more honest. And that's probably how it is online. Period. Right? I mean, some people are brutally honest when they're anonymous.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I already kind of had my honesty era where I lost everything by being honest, and so then like I had to leave the tribe and be exiled from the tribe um, because I couldn't be honest well inside the tribe, and so then it was like, well, what do you do? And then at a certain point, like after you've been fully honest, then some people stick with you, and you go, okay, I think you're gonna be my friend for life. And then you realize that like I can be honest, and there's going to be consequences. But some people will stick with you, and some is better than most, in my opinion. But there are like consequences, and not everybody wants to like face the consequences of honesty. And I don't blame anybody for that because losing a tribe is it's a kind of hell. It's a real kind of hell.
Yeah, you have to accept the consequences from like if you go down a road. I mean, and at the and you decide to either behave a certain way or talk or divulge some things, you have to be okay with however it's received. You can't. It's like it doesn't mean that they're right, the people that are receiving it in the wrong way, but you kind of that's the gamble, right? That's the trust that you're putting in that person that they take the information and have it go through a hospitable framework of my personality, you know? And if they can't do that, then it tells me more about their personality and their character, you know? Good or bad, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Michael, it's killing me because every time I'm trying to get through all of these channels videos and I don't have time to do it all. I've got Michael's and I think 25% through with oh, I just lost it. Who'd you just talk with recently?
Jordan Hall.
Yes, Jordan Hall, and then Ethan. I had two of your videos going. I have now Neil that I added in, the one you and Neil were just having a conversation with. Plus, I found the one where you were talking to Mark Parker. I don't know. I think it was
just pause everything and finish Sartori and Jordan Hall.
yeah,
Seriously.
yeah.
Seriously, put that one at the top of your queue because that one is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're thinking about planning to take a trip out there to
the team events?
yeah, to meet up with him at the end of June, kind of see if we like the area because our family's kind of become a little bit uprooted. So,
You're right up.
so yeah, looking for what the next thing to do is. So,
I think
can
it's
see you in
great
North
that you can.
Carolina.
Yeah, I mean the idea that you can engage some of those guys on the level that you do, I think is awesome. I'm not good with that. Like that's why I don't go on the Friday Estuary on PBK's channel. It's like, yeah, sometimes these thinkers are a little too deep thinkers for me, you know. And I not that I enjoy listening to it. I just can't. I can't give them something. I can't give them. It's like me showing up to a potluck with McDonald's and they're there with, you know, really good home cooked stuff.
No. You're thinking about it all wrong because
I know, but you
there's
get
gonna
my
be
point.
there's no because there's gonna be so many people at that freaking potluck who are stoked when you bring McDonald's and they're like, thank goodness somebody brought it. I wasn't courageous enough to do it, but now I can enjoy McDonald's thanks to you.
yeah, I mean, I always try to be like, I've tried to resist a lot of the like temptation to use the fancy words unless I can like as I'm using them relate to them in a more normal way or whatever. Because I mean, I just think about like Jesus. What obviously he's like smarter than everybody, but he figured out. I mean, it's a really great book, The Surprising Genius of Jesus, and basically talking about like, oh, we don't think about him as intellectual like Socrates and Plato necessarily because he was so effective at communicating to a whole range of people. And so I'm like, well, that's the skill that's most crucial. Because like the parables meant something to the fishermen, and it was actually, but it made the smart people work really hard to figure out, you know, what the gold was in there. So
Yeah, that's a good point. I appreciate you guys coming on. I don't want to step on Chris Howard. He's starting now. So plus, I don't want to confuse the general with what kind of people are awake this early. I like CW. You're kind, evidently. Yeah, he gave me a wrench. I was like getting frustrated with Stank in his stream. I was like, oh, dude, this guy's out of control. He's out of control, man. I just, you know,
Rob
like,
is gonna rob.
yeah, and I don't think Ups had the like. I don't think he was on it or whatever. I don't think he was there, or maybe he wasn't able to. But then he said, no, what they do is deletes all their own things on their own, so you can't do anything or something like that, to where it makes it harder for you to monitor, moderate them.
Yeah, it's smart.
So then he popped back up real quick, and I right-clicked it, and I silenced him. And as soon as I did that, he retracted that comment, but he was already silenced, and then all the comments got deleted. So it was like, okay. That was the first time I ever did anything like that. But it was at the end of the stream, so it was done, Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to head over to, or at least I'm going to end the stream.
All right.
Yeah. Chris Howard's awesome, so we got to go check it out.
See ya.
All right,
Later.
guys. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.